Hey everyone, it's Sonic91 here, and today I'm going to be covering issue 3 of Sonic IDW Imposter Syndrome. Now, as it went last time in my comic, I will first of all warn about spoilers for those who haven't read any preview pages, and then I will once again do spoilers as the preview pages end. So enjoy this review, and let me know in the comments overall what you think of this comic. Enjoy! So we start off with, as how we normally start off a comic, with the story so far. So if you have not read Imposter Syndrome yet, I highly go back and reading it. It is on YouTube or it is on different websites if you so please. So choose whatever you like to go read them because they are worth the read. Then we've got our roll call, Starline, Surge, and Kitsunami. So this is where the preview pages began, and we see Starline doing another one of his monologues over his camera, and he is not looking too happy. So he's basically directing Dr. Eggman. He's basically saying how he threw him out and how he basically treated him like garbage after everything he'd done for him. So Starline's basically saying that he will make him see that he was right this entire time, and he will give him a live display of what he can actually do and how worthy he is of being in his good graces. So he basically still is obsessed with Eggman, but at the same time he wants to prove to Eggman that he was right all along and that he's better than him. And he's even addressing Metal Sonic saying that this thing that he's making, aka Surgeon Kit, will be better than Metal Sonic. It will run rings around him, and it will be better than any sort of badnik that Eggman has ever made. It will be a robust, superior creation. We then cut to another recording, it seems, of where it looks like Starline, is actually charging up his tricore with the speed. Now, we can't be too sure, but that's certainly what it looks like. And he goes on to talk about how Zavok had lifted the veil from his eyes and how he's like, yeah, you don't need Eggman no more. Just be yourself, you know? And Starline took that. He was like, yeah, I'll be myself. I'll prove to Dr. Eggman that I was right this whole time. And then he says he needed the will and intuitivity of living beings. I need to take my initial design and fuse them further. Dr. Eggman has spent all this time inserting animals into his robots, when in actuality, it was the other way around. As you can see, it's just a little bit there in case you wanted to read it. And then we cut to Surge and Kit, who were reading this and watching these this entire time. Kit looks very shocked at this, and Surge is just not happy. She just wants the guy to shut up. Kit's kind of nervous about it. It's like, oh, should we be digging into Eggman's files? I think we should stop doing this. It's too expensive. And Surge is like, no, keep going. I want answers. I want to know what I am and what we are. These are where the second preview pages are. And now Starline is more on about his cybernetic enhancements have taken place. My base models are complete. Now comes specialization. So now he's talking about Surge and Kitsunami. And as you can see, we have got what has technically inspired him on his biomechanical miracles, which are Sonic Shadow, and due to my lighting you can't really see that well, but that is in fact and indeed Neo Metal Sonic. And then we've also got his tricore abilities of speed, flight, and power, and then we've got Tails' DNA. And then he talks about how Kitsunami will need external support, while Surge will need electromagnetic propulsion, but he's aiming to improve upon things and not maintain the status quo. I'm just going to pop that around and say is, Starline makes so many facial expressions in this, but this one is actually quite adorable. And then he says his power must be kept under control, so he's once again looking to Eggman for inspiration, and that's taken him from Bell, with his unorthodox constructions, as he points out, because Bell was made by Mrs. Tinker technically, not Dr. Eggman, which is why she's so unique. Just a little fun fact, that binary code over there translates as soul. And then he says basically that his creations will think what he wants them to think, and they will design what he wants to desire. So they're literally fully under his control. And he literally says, as a failsafe, they have developed a weakness to the hypnosis effect. And Surgeon Kit's response to this is, well, as you'd expect. So that was the end of the preview pages. So here's where the rest of the comic starts. So I am going to do one last spoiler alert. This is your final alert. Like, this is where the comic begins and where there was no more reviews as of time of recording. So yeah, spoilers ahead, and just let me know what you think of the comic in general. But yeah, there will be spoilers from this point on. We go to yet another recording, and it seems to be of Surge and Kit. but look, they look like children, don't you think? And then Starline is basically telling them basically what their personalities and what they are now. So Starline says to Surge, oh, little Surge, little head down and little hands and feet, they're so cute. He basically says, oh, you hate Sonic, you want to destroy Sonic, and she repeats that, and he tells Kit that he was to support Surge and he will do anything for her, and Kit says that back. And then they get a little older, Surge looks angrier, and Sonic once again repeats, you hate Sonic, you want to destroy Sonic, and Surge repeats it back. And then Starline's sipping from his live, laugh, love mug. That he lives that Kit lives to support Surge and will do anything for her. And Kit repeats that. But he doesn't really look that much different, which is kind of weird in my opinion. And then Starline asks Surge, but it was supposed to be years later, but we don't know that. And then he asks, oh, what do you think of Sonic? And then Surge is like, oh, I hate this jerk. I'll wipe my shoes on his grave when I put him in it. And then Starline asks Kit about Surge, and then Kit is really excited that he wants to meet her ASAP, which is quite cute. And then we go to more recordings. This is quite a lot of recordings, by the way. And he talks about the metal virus and how we put them into safe set of upgrades to supplement enhancement cybernetics. Surge doesn't get to know we're exceedingly resilient physically, but here's the file footage here. We seem to have Surge going through some sort of course, but look, she seems to be having a good time there, but then falls straight into a spike kit, and it looks like she's drowning. So can she swim? Can she not? This is very confusing at the moment. And then we got Surge backing up saying, I'm not running it again. You are dead and you're right. And then the song, Song of Surprise. I'm guessing this is one of her first, the outbursts that she had. And then we've got Kit going through the exact same thing. And he seems to be struggling a lot more than what Surge was, the poor guy. And then you can see Surge here kind of running off without Kit. And he looks terrified, the poor thing. And then we got Kit having a bit of a mental breakdown while Starline yells at him saying, well, Surge is right there. What are you doing here? And then Kit's like crying. He's like, I'm so sorry. Basically how he is. And the Starline even points out that he has psychological trauma. The hypnotic memory has been dealing with it, but obviously not very well. And then we seem to have more playback of Surge being beaten by Bandit, Kit falling from the sky, and then Surge having some sort of outburst. And someone points out, he can't just erase their memory because they're learning and improving now. So, what's the explanation? No pain, no gain. Hope they'll be ready for field testing soon. So he continues to test them. Oh, poor Kit, he's being grabbed by his ears. Surge is having a fantastic time while being approached by an egg robot. And poor Kit again is just not having a good time. Well, this comic is dark. I will say for that. And then Surge is looking really angry, but you can see just there that she is crying, and Kit just looks emotionless. As you can see, she is just the poor thing. And then she's like, okay, look it up. Can we please stop? I don't want to know anymore. Look up who we were. What? So Surge has had enough of this recording. She wants to know her origins. She wants to know her backstory now. And she says right here, you heard him. We're cyborgs. He put stuff in us, but he did not make us. So who were we? Volunteers? Kidnapped? Heroes? Convicts? Who were we before this all started? And you can kind of see that of her screaming in pain, and seems to be in the test pods from earlier on. Kit tries to find some answers, but there is no record. And Surge is confused by this. He's like, he makes vlogs of what he had for breakfast. Look harder. And then Kit's just like, it's like, I can't, it's not here. And Surge is like, well, why not? And Starline interrupts saying, it's irrelevant. It's past your bedtime, children. So he basically directs them as children. And then Surge, literally in tears, screaming at him, saying, it's not irrelevant. She needs context. She has no past, and this is all she has. And this is nothing. I'm nobody. I'm just a knockoff. Everything I think, is a lie. And then Starline pulls out his hypnotism glove and goes to hypnotize her once again by putting her to sleep and erasing her memories. But unfortunately, this does not work out as he had hoped, as she is basically got a complete immunity now, and it will not work. And we see Kit with his glowing eyes for the first time, I believe. He has absolutely lost it. He will protect Surge with his life, as he now knows that he was programmed to do so, and he goes straight for Starline with his water. But unfortunately, Starline uses his heel spurs and smashes his electromagnetic straight into poor Kit as he literally just collapses, like the poor kid. Surge, obviously angry by this, goes straight for Starline, but Starline activates his power core and counters the attack. But thanks to Surge's speed and her strength, she is like, oh yeah, you want power or speed? So he basically programs her with both of them, which obviously has backfired immensely on him. But then, unfortunately for Surge, Starline activates his flight core, something she does not have, and smashes her with his heel as well. But unfortunately, once again, he says, oh, I've invested too much time in you, but I will punish you further if necessary. So he's not afraid to, hurt his own children, which is actually really dark. And Surge calls him out. He's like, oh, you're a moron, because first of all, she can heal fast, and he forgot about Kit. And then as Kit grabs him with his water, he drops both his glasses and his glove. And once again, we see a very scary shot of Kit. Tangled up by all this water, Starline panics. He says, you can't kill me. I'm the only one who knows about your past. I'm the only one you will get these answers from. And then Surge, obviously still pissed off about everything, tells him to shut up and puts him to sleep with his own hypnotism glove. Kit, confused, asking what to do. He goes to Surge because obviously he does what Surge wants to do, despite Surge doing what Starline wants to do. So this is the whole big thing we have within this comic and within these characters. Surge has a complete mental breakdown. She says she burns everything down. Sonic, Eggman, every idiot that follows either one of them. She ends everything. No heroes, villains, or nothing. If they don't get a past, they don't get a future. So she says, oh, why should we not have our past? Then they should not have their future. It's as simple as that. Kit agrees to this. He's like, okay, how do we do it? Surge, first of all, just really wants to rip off Starline's throat on his brain. She's ready to kill this guy, like Mimic was in Bad Guys Issue 3. And Kit says, oh, I won't stop you, but can I acquire the first? And then Surge is like, okay, go ahead, you're a smart one. Kit's like, okay, well, Starline was already planning to bring everyone here, so we could destroy Sonic and Tails as planned, and then go on to destroy both Doctors. But then she kind of just goes to Surge, like, you want to do that? And then Surge is like, a Doc go to trouble just to set himself up for the fall? I can work with that. So she agrees with it. What seems to be probably a few hours later, Starline wakes up in his chair, but noticeably without his robe and with his glove and his glasses. He looks up at his playback and he's really confused. He's like, oh, what the fuck? Kind of like how everyone else was when they were hypnotized. And Surge is like, oh, you're finally awake. You picked yourself to sleep with your own monologue. And someone's like, my own monologue? And it's like, oh yeah. And Surge kind of says, oh yeah, you were telling us about how you made us permission prep. Some nonsense. I wasn't paying full attention. So basically now she's telling him that he was telling both Surge and Kit Tsunami about their origins. But so basically she's basically manipulating him, saying, oh yeah, you were just telling us about how we were made. We didn't do any sneaking around. You told us directly. So she's basically messing with his memories like he messed with hers and Kit's. And someone questions this, like they did, and she's like, yeah, I did. And someone comes like, you're not okay with this? And Surge kind of responds in kind of a creepy way. He's like, well, if I wasn't before, I'm pretty sure we'd have wiped that out of my brain. So she knows that Starline has been resetting her memories all this time. So she kind of indicates that she knows, but Starline is still really confused and still kind of dazed from just being waken up from being hypnotized. And Surge is like, oh, you made us powerhouses, you made us really strong. All I have to do is get a lifetime of some worship and dust some egg-driven jerk, right? Easy to show. So all she's got to do is just take out Sonic and Eggman. Like, that's what she was programmed to do. And then she goes to Kit, is like, you were cool with that, aren't you? And then he responds with just yes ma'am to both questions. And Surge literally says here, he is because I say he is, which is responding back to the fact that Kit does what Surge wants to do. Starline kind of agrees with it. She's like, oh yeah, well good. I'm glad we have passed that milestone. Then he kind of goes like, oh, I should go to my schedule. And then we have a good shot of Surge and Kit smirking. I believe that was a leaked panel. But yeah, I didn't know how many people saw that one. And Serge kind of says, oh, he kind of questions like, what's the plan now? We got all that boring stuff out the way, of course. And Starline's like, oh, well, why not? I seem to have caught a second wind. I'll be brief though. I don't want a headache to escalate. So he's got a headache from this hypnotism, so obviously this hypnotism did not go without more pain afterwards. And then Starline's like, as for the restoration focus on rebuilding, so too the Dr. Eggman will be invading his new capital city, which is where I'll upload my override program, which is just master plan this whole time. And then Surge kind of agrees with it. Scramble Eggman with his own bats. I love it. And then Sonic says, no, we have to pacify Dr. Eggman. Sonic and Tails are our only terminal targets. So he's not looking to destroy Dr. Eggman. He's looking just for Sonic and Tails. He just wants to pacify the guy. And Surge is like, oh, my bad. Even though that's what she wants to do. And then it goes on to the final bit. Our activities there will undoubtedly grab the attention of the heroes and lure them in. The panics will be sufficient for ultra-military support, freeing you to up to focus on what you are made for. Once you're separated and cornered, your targets will be struck with all your efficiency and zero remorse. Next time, invading the Eggman Empire. So, Starline basically says, yeah, we're gonna cause a commotion that's gonna lure all the heroes in. We're gonna take them out. Yeah, we win. And then we've got all our covers here for next month. I'm hoping that people saw this because this is for issue 4 cover A, which correlates with this one. And then we've got Surge and Sonic fighting. Well, Metal Sonic seems to be fighting them. Well, Surge and Metal Sonic, or Surge and Sonic are trying to fight each other by the looks of it. Starline is cheering them on. While Kit is attacking Tails, who is just not having the best of times. Then we've got our leather squad. We've got the little letter here if you want to read that. We've got some more fan up there. And then we've got the covers for this issue. And then we've got the advertisement for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the prequel comic that they're making. So yeah, overall, that was Sonic the Hedgehog Imposter Syndrome issue 3 by Ian Flynn. I really enjoyed this issue. As dark as it was, we got the answers. Like, we've been craving these answers for a long time, and I'm glad we got them. Let me just say, this issue was very dark. We just got to see how evil and cruel Starline is towards these two. How evil he is towards his own children, basically. I mean, he undoubtedly calls them children in this issue. He calls them his own children. And they were children in this issue. So if I go back to that... Yeah, look. They are literal children in this. So I want some answers myself. Like, why are they children in this? What happened? What were they? Because Storage says herself that they are cyborgs. They are not real people. But they were put into cyborgs because Starline says himself that Dr. Eggman has spent all his time inserting animals into robots, so the solution was the other way around. So he's put robots into animals. So he's made these two other people that had their own life potentials beforehand into robots. So who knows who these people were before? Who were they? Were they kidnapped? Were they victims of the metal virus? We don't know. But hopefully we may find out in issue 4 of Imposter Syndrome, which comes out, I'm not actually sure. I believe that comes out in May, but we can never be too sure. So yeah, that was Imposter Syndrome issue 3 of the IDW series. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this little mini review, be sure to drop a like because my last comic review did really, really well, surprisingly, and that made me really happy. So please go check that one out if you want to. You don't have to, of course, but if you want to, go ahead. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on Sonic the Hedgehog Imposter Syndrome issue 3 review. It's not the best review. I never really do these kind of things, but I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it regardless. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching this review. And please go check the comic out for yourself when it releases, because I did get this one day early. So thank you for watching. Drop a like, maybe hit a sub if you so wish to and want more of these reviews in the future. Thank you for watching. Go buy this comic yourself. It releases tomorrow as of time of recording. Thank you for watching once again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.